Hey, so this is my fairly modified 1965 C100 Super Cub Honda 50. I bought it, had about 1,800 miles on it, and honestly, in modern traffic, the 50cc engine on these with the 3-speed, of which one is a granny gear, it just was not safe in traffic. So I had to make the decision: do I keep this as something cute to look at, or do I actually ride it? Where's my foot peg? Well, that's interesting. Huh. That's my 15-year-old daughter. So, anyway, I had to make the decision: do I have it as something nice to look at, or do I actually ride it? And I decided I wanted to ride it. So this is there's quite a lot of modification here. Now, firstly, I understand what that does to the value. So there is no modification to this that I can't go into the garage behind you and spend a half a day to a day to get this back to original spec. This is a Lifan 110, and it's been really good. The gear shift is a little bit clunky, like going from 4th to 3rd is a little bit janky. Got to really drop speed for that. I don't know if that's that's by design to not over rev it, but that's the one thing I don't really love about it. But the torque is insane. So that's a Lifan 110. This is a cover I bought from Ethiopia on eBay. It's really crappy pot metal, or it's maybe camel dung and glitter. It's just really crappy. But getting the original of that'll fit the Lifan 110. I think you can get them off C90s in the UK. Not sure, but I just couldn't pull the trigger on spending $200 or $300 on a real cover, because the engine was only $350 with a bunch of bits and pieces. So it's a 110. It took very little modification to get it in. There's a little bit of a file I had to do there on both sides, and then I went straight in, and it was so torquey that I changed the front sprocket to a much smaller one, as small as I think I could get away with. And now the cruising speed, I mean, it'll get up to 40-45, but it easily gets to 30-35. So in traffic, this thing just takes off. So I'm keeping the gearing so that it's pretty brisk getting away from the light. Keeps me out of trouble. It can happily cruise along at 35-40 in traffic. So because that's a Lifan 110, I went with the 110. Why did I go for the 110? It's been a while. I went for the 110 because on this side, it's easier to get a 110 pit bike engine. I'm going to show you. So it's much easier to find them with a side cover that has the cutout for this foot peg to come out. I got it from Dr. ATV. I think that's the website. I wonder where that foot peg's gone. That's bugging me now. I'm gonna go for a ride, see if I can find it. But that's just the engine change. So the 110. Then I bought this on eBay from the UK. It's a C90 Exhaust Muffler, and it went on fairly easily. It's a little bit tight. There's a scuff there from the kickstand, but it's great. So in terms of running gear, that was the change. Now that means I had to switch to 12 volts. So I took the entire wiring harness out. There's only one place I could cut, and that was one wire back here, and that wiring harness is safe and sound if I want to revert. And I just built from scratch a very basic wiring harness. I didn't care about the neutral light. Basically, horn, full beam headlight, which is on turn 2 of the switch, running the engine. And it was super simple, especially running the engine. So getting the engine wiring from scratch was really trivially easy. It was a bit more of a pain in the ass to do brake lights, headlight, horn, which is just the minimum. So you may also notice that it looks a bit chunky for a Honda 50. That's because this is off a 1964 Honda CT200. So the early Trail 90 bikes, they were called the CT200 for a little while. So that is a fork off a CT200, and yes, I have my original fork. The only modification I had to do was I had to modify the cup at the top of that to line out better with what's going on under here. Isn't that what I had to do? Yeah, that's what I had to do. So there's this, then a cup, then this, and the cup I had to grind out a little bit so that I could mate it to the chassis, but it was pretty straightforward. Then these are CT200 wheels off that same donor bike that I got for like 150 bucks. It was utterly trashed. I just didn't. I have a CT90, and I bought that just because it was going to be junked, and I didn't have the stomach to. It wasn't restorable. There was so much missing, but these wheels are off a CT200. So these are 275-inch tires, and there's no way 275-inch tires clear the standard fork on the Honda 50. The back clears okay, so no modification at the back. Just those wider wheels off the CT200. What was it called? CT200? Yeah, 1964 Honda 90, effectively. And those on the back. And it's awesome. I mean, it just zips around traffic, zips around the neighborhood. I'm gonna go for a ride in a sec. I have a new seat. I have new plastics, but they just don't feel right. They just look wrong. I'm not gonna do a paint restore. I like it this kind of ratty. I painted the wheels black because they were super rusted up. So I just sanded those down, painted them black, which looked good for a while. I wish I'd done Plasti Dip, actually, because there's a fair amount of damage from me changing tires, because I suck at it. Especially, I've changed the back a lot, because it's so torquey, I keep just ripping valve guides off. I made the mistake of using, I don't remember if it was Pledge or a tire cleaner, but if you use tire cleaner on a bike, and it gets into the lip here, it acts like a lubricant, and then the tire is much more likely to slip when you accelerate. And with the tube in there, it just like whoosh, kind of rips it off. So I've been through my share of inner tubes. What else can I say about it? New little vintage light off, little bracket off Amazon, like 20 bucks, 15 bucks. The original I have. Chain guard, everything is good. So, you know what? Let me go get the key. I'll crank it up and go for a ride.
Okay, I'll go around.